Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Lunch 365 series. My name is Amy Spriggs. I am the Director of Marketing Strategy for Tomorrow's Technology Today. And I have with me Katie Kramer. Katie is our Project and Training Specialist at Tomorrow's Technology Today. And we are going to discuss with you today Intro to Cloud Storage with OneDrive and SharePoint. So when I say we, I mean Katie. I am going to be the MC of the event, and I will be watching the comments to make sure that we answer your questions, see if there's anything else you need to know. So feel free to comment and ask a question or send us a message, and I will watch those so that Katie can give us a presentation on cloud storage. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Katie Kramer.
All right, thank you so much, Amy, and welcome everyone. Hopefully you had a chance to grab some lunch. And we are just going to walk through, I put together just some very general cloud basic points, and we'll just talk through just a couple slides, and then we'll go through and do a demo of OneDrive and also of SharePoint so you guys can actually see the applications, and if you've used them and if you have questions, now is the perfect time to drop those in, and Amy will grab those for us, and we'll get your questions answered for you. So without further ado, all right, so up first, what is the cloud? So this really confuses people a lot, and it is, I completely understand why. So the definition of the cloud, it can seem murky, but essentially it's a term used to describe a global network of servers, each with a unique function. So the cloud is not a physical entity, but instead it is a vast network of remote servers, and they are all around the globe, and they are hooked together and meant to operate as a single ecosystem. So these servers are designed to either store and manage data, run applications, or deliver content or a service such as streaming videos, webmail, office productivity software, and even social media. So instead of accessing files and data from a local or personal computer, you are accessing them online from any internet-capable device, and the information will be available anywhere you go and anytime that you need it. So a lot of times, like if you use a Microsoft account, it's going to follow you. So depending which device you're logged into with your Microsoft account, let's say that you typically work on a computer and you are traveling, so you decide to hop onto your iPad. As long as your files are saved out in Microsoft's cloud, you will be able to access them from the iPad as well. So, and we'll get into a little bit more of the detail here in just a few minutes. So typically, businesses use 4 different methods to deploy cloud resources. So there is the public cloud that shares resources and offers services to the public over the internet. Then there is the private cloud that isn't shared and offers services over a private internal network, typically hosted on-premise. And then there's a hybrid cloud that shares services between public and private clouds, depending on their purpose. And then there is the community cloud that shares resources only between organizations, such as within government institutions. So these are some of the top cloud service providers. So some of these might look pretty familiar to you. As we mentioned, we do have Microsoft Azure, and then there's also the Amazon Web Services, there's an IBM Cloud, and then there's also Google Cloud that I know a lot of people use too. So if you're using Google Drive, you're using Google Cloud. Oh, let me go back. So the big benefit for public clouds is that they can save companies from the expensive costs of having to purchase, manage, and maintain on-premise hardware and application infrastructure, because the cloud service provider is held responsible for all management and maintenance of the system. So we are a Microsoft Gold partner. So we always want to make sure that you know that your products and services are secure and compliant. So I'm not going to wear you out with all the fascinating details of all of what each of these services is today, but I do want you to know that just kind of be aware of what is included and what they are doing. I know it kind of makes people nervous to think about their data being saved in the cloud, making sure that they have access to it, making sure who else has access to it besides just their company. So we want to make sure that you understand that all of these security parameters are in place as well. Amy, any questions so far?
Nothing yet.
Okay. I am going to flip over here and share what OneDrive looks like. All right, can you see that?
I was going to say, I know the cloud thing was something that was new to me, not new to me, but I knew I was using it and different ways I was using it. I didn't know the differences in the cloud. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. I obviously come from not a tech background. I am in marketing. And so I knew I was using the things. I knew how to use all of the different software and the different programs and save things here and there. But I didn't realize, I guess, where things were being stored. And the nice thing is to be able to do it so easily and like stream so well together. And I know you're going to show them a little bit of how that works here. So that is phenomenal because as you can tell, Katie is working in the office and I am working remotely. This is my home office. So this will kind of show you how we can work together seamlessly through these products.
Perfect. And that's a good point too. So a lot of people, I want to make sure people understand that if you are saving your data in the cloud, you do have access to it as long as you have internet access. So that's kind of the variable that's out there if you are using the cloud. So just making sure that you're logged in with your Microsoft account, but then also making sure that you do have a solid internet connection, because if you don't, if the internet goes out, then yeah, you are kind of stuck. But the good news is you can set it up so that you can sync your documents and you can just go through File Explorer if you don't like the web applications. I'm going to just show you real quick what it looks like in the web version. And this is just using, I have a Debbie demo account set up. And I think I've mentioned before, Debbie doesn't have a whole lot of documents or anything like that, but it'll at least get us through today so that you guys can kind of take a look and see what it looks like. So you can see that it's already set up. It's got notebooks. That is for OneNote that is built in with Windows 10. But if I just go up here to New, I can create a Word document. And again, this is all going to be online. You can also use the desktop version and it'll automatically save. Just know too, I know a lot of people run into some issues with that autosave. It gets confusing if they're used to doing the old-fashioned file save as. Microsoft 365 automatically saves your documents. You can turn that off if you don't want to use it. Typically, it's up in the upper left-hand corner of the actual desktop application. So just be aware of that, that it does automatically create that file so that you don't lose anything and it saves real time. So here we can just do test demo, and you can see right here it says that it's already saving. So this is saving to my OneDrive. And here you have all the different options too. Depending how you want that file to be saved, you can go in here if you want to rename it. And again, if you want to download as a copy, I like too that they now have it available that if you have a Word document and you want to save it as a PDF, let's say that you're writing up some kind of contract or something, you know, for something that you don't want people to be able to change if they would get a copy of the Word document. And here is our Word document. So here you can see too, we have the three little dots that we're used to with Microsoft products. So if you can click on those, here you can see where you can share. So either by grabbing this link, or you can also hit the share button down here and you can, let's say that I want to share it with Amy. And if I want to, can you read this document? And I'm gonna, you can also, if you want to change it so that they can edit it, or if you want them to only be able to view, you have those options. And you also have the option if you want to grab the link from here, you can do that. And here you can also see who the document is all shared with. So I'm going to share that with Amy and she'll have that in her inbox here in just a second. And here you have the little confirmation letting you know that it has been shared. And you can also see they, by default, have all these different columns set up. So there's the name, modified, sharing, if it's shared, and also who it's last been modified by. The nice part too is with Microsoft 365 is that we can both now access that same document, and we can get in there, let's say that we have a report to get out, or a file that we need to get over to someone, and it needs to be done by the end of the day. Amy and I can both access that Word document. So here you can see, here is Amy's line that she typed in, I am here, and you can see Amy's in red. So you can kind of see too, and I mean, you can share it with your whole team. If everyone wants to get in there and work in different sections or something like that, it's pretty easy to use. And then you can see also who is accessing the document up here at the top right. And Amy's going to see the same thing on her document that I'm typing in. I just typed pretty awesome. So yeah, so OneDrive is typically used, it's not really used to share a whole lot. It's more guided towards if just one person is accessing the documents and maybe there's just a couple of things that they need to share out. SharePoint is typically going to be, if you have a file server, SharePoint is going to be what you use to replace that file server. Typically OneDrive is kind of used just to kind of sync up your documents, and if, let's say that something happens to your physical computer, let's say that, I don't know, somehow it gets destroyed or something like that, or your hard drive goes bad. As long as you have your files saved out in OneDrive, you can still access them just by logging into a different computer and pull down your Microsoft account. And again, if you have Microsoft included in, let's say, your phone or your tablet, things like that, you're also able to access your files that way. I do want to note that OneDrive is not a backup solution. A lot of people, like to think that, oh, now that I have my files saved in the cloud, I don't need to pay for my backup service anymore. That's not necessarily true. And we just want to make sure that people understand why. That is kind of just a security risk. It's not like, Microsoft gets hacked into a whole lot. But if people are using, let's say, the same password, and let's say that your Facebook and your Microsoft have the same email contact and the same password. So if your Facebook gets hacked into, which, I mean, that seems extremely common these days, there's a chance that your Microsoft account could also get hacked into. So at that point, they can go in, they can hold you for ransom, they could take your data, and then you have to pay whatever thousands of dollars, and I mean, you're kind of stuck at that point. So that's why it's a good idea to still have that third-party backup system in place in addition to using OneDrive, and if you decide to use the sync option down to your computer as well. Does that make sense, Amy?
Yes, and you just answered the question that I was going to pose to you about, is this a backup solution? And no, it is not.
No, it is not.
so there you go.
No.
It does allow for easy collaboration, but you do definitely still need a backup, data backup solution. So I'll let you continue.
All right. All right. So I think, and like I said, if you want, you can also, if you click this little sync button, I'm not going to do that because it's going to show all of my K Kramer at T-Tech-T stuff. But if you do the sync button, that'll bring up the File Explorer. So that little yellow folder that we all know and love that's been around since Windows XP. And then it shows, it'll have my computer, and it'll show all of your documents, desktop, the profile folders that you're used to. And then it'll also show your OneDrive, and then if you have SharePoint set up as well. So really, you can still access everything the same way that you're used to. For today's purposes, we are just showing these are the web applications just so that everyone's kind of used to it. And you can see that that's also available. Kind of just another way to get to it in case, I don't know, if anything happens to your desktop applications, you know that it's there. Or let's say that you don't have them installed if you're working from home and your company allows you to access your work documents. But that's also another security thing that we like to talk about too, that if you are accessing your work documents from home, make sure that you are complying with whatever your company has set up as far as security standards. So there are things that you need to do to keep things safe. All right, so I think that is it for OneDrive. And now I will flip us over to our demo SharePoint.
Katie, I just wanted to say something really quick on that. I know Katie mentioned the work from home, and we talked about that a little. Just a little, I guess, a little plug in here. We are going to be doing a free webinar for business executives next week, Thursday, about remote workers, and securing your remote workforce. So I will make sure that I get that information out to you if you would like it. Feel free to reach out to us, send me a message, and I'll make sure I'll share that with you as well. We will have that all set up. And then if you go onto our website within the next 24 hours, that site's going to flip over, and for the next free executive webinar, that'll be the information on there. So if you are looking at maybe trying to figure out how to secure your remote workforce, to get the security piece behind this, I do encourage you to watch that one. We're thinking it'll be 30, maybe 45 minutes of time. So please join us next Thursday for that.
Perfect. All right, so now switching gears just a little bit. So this is SharePoint, and this is actually the landing page that if you have a Microsoft 365 business subscription, this is included, and you can make as many landing pages as you want. So if you want to have one for all of your business, and then you want to have one for, let's say, maybe like your accounting people, one for your HR people, your engineers, salespeople, whatever you want it to be, you can create as many of these landing pages as you want. This is just kind of a demo that we use, and this is very broad. This is company-based, and just to kind of give you an idea, and it does look like a web page, and you do use a web browser to get to it. Just know that it is still, it's secure. It's not like anyone can go out there and Google TTechT's demo landing. They're not going to find it out there in the world of Google anywhere. So you have to have the link, and you have to have permissions, and then of course, there's the multi-factor authentication that we've talked about before to be able to access this. So it is something that is very secure. So just to kind of give you an idea of what you can do with it, these landing pages are based on a template, and there are, I don't know how many, probably hundreds of different templates that you can use, but it really is, it's kind of fun to play with. And it just has different web parts that you can edit. So just kind of walking through ours, we have our team photo up here, and you can make all of these just different links, whatever you want it to be, whatever kind of resources everybody in the company has, or like I said, if you have it kind of department specific, you can do that too. And then we have like our website is linked down here, and also Microsoft Office. If you want to put everybody in your organization in here, you can do that too. That's kind of nice when you get new employees, then that way they kind of know who everybody is. You can add their role if you want to. Whatever information that you want included, then that way, you know, it's a little easier to put some names and faces together. If you want to add your holiday schedule or any kind of calendar that you want, you can sync it right in. Like we, on our actual page, we have our technician schedule in, like for anybody that's on call. So it syncs right up with our Outlook calendar that we have built for them. And then we have like our company announcements down here. So let's say, you know, that there's something new and exciting that we are doing as a company, or any kind of event that we have coming up. We can put that down here in the company announcement section. So we build quite a few of these for clients. It's kind of just a nice little hub of being able to share information. And like I said, you can pretty much put anything on here that you want. To edit it, just go up here to the edit button. That's going to put the whole page in edit mode. And then from here, you can kind of go through and whatever web parts that you want to do, or if you want to move some things around, it kind of just walks you through all those different tools. So like I said, it's really fun to play with, and you can easily get lost in an afternoon playing with it. But to actually update it, I mean, it's really, it takes minutes, and then just hit the republish button and boom, it's back out there and everyone has access to it. So I wanted to just show you the landing page, and then I also want to talk about the documents that you can have saved in SharePoint. So like I said, SharePoint is kind of something a lot of people used to use, like the old file servers. So if you have maybe an older server, or if you were thinking about replacing your server for whatever reason, going to SharePoint is a great way to go. It's something that is very user-friendly. I don't know, we have a lot of success with it. We have a lot of clients who really like it. Like I said, the biggest concern is if you ever lose internet access and you're trying to get out to the cloud, if you don't have that sync set up, yeah, you're not going to be able to get to it until your internet comes back. But it is easy enough to hit the sync button that first time, and that's going to sync up your files every single time. And like I said, it does that real-time save, so makes it really easy to use. So here you can see too, I kind of just have, I have a link over to my OneDrive files. And this is using my different account, so this won't take us back to the Debbie demo account. But you can see, you can do the new Word document and go in here. Kind of looks the same as what we had over in OneDrive. So this is the online version of using Microsoft Word. If you want, you can open it in the desktop app as well. So real easy to share. So again, if we go out here, we can share it with Amy or whoever we wish. And you are able to, if you want to share things outside of your company, you can do that too. So you just have to go into your admin center and allow external sharing and guest access. So just put test in here. You can also, if you'd rather use Outlook and just drop the link in, you can just copy the URL from here and just drop that in an email. And I'll hit send. All right, so this is letting me know that the link was sent, and Amy will have that in her inbox here soon. And we'll just do test demo.
Got it.
Awesome. That's
There
how
it
quick
is.
it is. So like I said, so now Amy can get in here, and really it works the exact same way as OneDrive. So that whole collaboration piece is really there with Microsoft 365. It's super nice. Oh, so here we can see Amy's already in it, and she's making some changes to our document. All right, so let's see. As far as here's just kind of the different features. So if you don't have the sync on, you can also download the document. So just hit the download, and that's going to bring up the file explorer that we're all used to. That'll show my computer, OneDrive and SharePoint, all your different options there. So, or if you need to move things around, very easy to do. So, all right, any questions on SharePoint?
I do not see any. So to me, this is how I think of SharePoint. I know this might be weird and maybe I'm wrong, so you correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me like, you know how when you had your desktop and you had all your files on your desktop and you put your folders and you organized them, this is basically the online shareable version of that, but it's online only with the people you want it to be online with.
That's exactly right. Yep, they absolutely have to have the link, and they have to have permission. So a lot of times, like we'll set it up and we'll have an admin, let's say, at each client location. And even like when we do the migrations and everything, like we'll go through and we'll tell our clients like, hey, here's who has access to which files, let us know if this needs to be any different. Because sometimes too, if they have like the map drive, or maybe they don't have the map drive, maybe they don't even know they have access to it. But then when they move over to SharePoint, that's always something we want to caution people, and if you don't go with us, that's very much something just to keep in the back of your mind, is to make sure you go through those permissions, because now it is a little easier to see, I think, in the web version than what it is if you're using File Explorer.
Yeah, it's really nice to know what's going on with your data and where it's going. I know this sounds bad, but that hasn't been my main objective and job in my job a lot of the time. So, now that cybersecurity it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And knowing where you're at as an employee is important, but making sure that your organization has it covered is really important. So if you aren't sure what your organization is doing, ask. I would make sure to ask, because I know I have worked other places, and now that I'm in this job, I'm like, ooh, we maybe weren't as secure as we should have been in some of the things we've been doing. So it really is very important, because it's not just, so as an employee, it's not just our business data, and it's not just our client data. It's also my personal information, right? Because I'm an employee of the company, so my information is in there as well. So you got to make sure that, at some point, when you have all this shared information and shared data, that you're making sure that it is secure as well. That is really, really, really important.
Absolutely.
All right. I think we're good as far as the questions go. I'm going to check again here. I don't see anything new. Anything else, Katie?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
And like I said before, we are going to do another one next week. So if you are already on our list and on our pages, watch our page. We'll be sharing it out there. But if we go to, I'm going to put in the comments now, tomtechtoday.com/executive webinar. Now, that is not updated to the new one yet, but it will be updated in the next 24 hours, working with our web developers on that as we speak. But if you go to that website, that will be sure to have the information there for you to sign up for that for next week's event. If you can't join us live, I always encourage you to still sign up for those webinars, especially in the executive series, because we will send you a link afterwards to make sure that you can view it. But we love to have you come on live because we like it when you ask your questions. So if you have any other information that you would like, let's say you have a topic you'd like us to cover, if you do that on our Lunch 365 page. So if you go onto this page here, that is where you want to go in and you can sign up for alerts for the next event. But you can also, there's a little button there where you can put in what you want to hear about, like what you want us to cover. So we love to cover the topics you want to hear because we want this to be a value to you. Yes, this is a free thing we're doing, but we really do want you to be utilizing your tools appropriately, even if you are or are not a client of ours. So making sure that you can work smarter, not harder, as they say.
100%.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And we will look forward to seeing you again on the third Wednesday of the month.
Right.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys. Have a great day.